Welcome to another episode of the Epic Podcast. My name is Chris, and it's my pleasure to host you. Throughout the day, I'm also a business and leadership consultant, as well as the business owner. I have 4 children, and there have been several opportunities for me to share with them the importance of not quitting, persevering, right? And oftentimes we tell our children to kind of work through the problem, ranging from English class to math classes. We have story problems, we have reading issues or reading problems. And all that is to solve for an equation, to solve the equation to find the answer. And a lot of the times, when we don't get something the first time, our natural mindset is just to quit, is just to give up, to say I can't do this or whatever the case might be. And so today I want to talk to you about perseverance, and this is because um, over the past few years of being a business owner, there have been some brief moments. They've been quick. They don't stick around about whether being a business owner is something that I really want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoy helping people. I've always been doing this for 30 plus years of my adult life. I have been servicing people. I've been helping them. I've been um, developing people and growing businesses. The catch is that when you don't have that safety net to fall under, right? You're the business owner. A lot of the times it feels very lonely. In fact, there was a mentor of mine years ago, um, almost 20 years ago, that told me this one statement. And he said, Chris, remember that when you're in leadership, leadership is a lonely place. I can't tell you how many times that has come to my mind, because there just doesn't seem to be a lot of people that I can talk with about business and or the case, whatever the case might be. So a lot of the times, I think as business owners, we think of or community leaders, right? We think of things not going the way we think they should go, and instead of thinking through the problem, just because we're human beings, our initial response is, "Oh, that's not going to work, so I'm not going to continue to pursue that." And I'm finding that is not necessarily the case more often than not. Now, there are some circumstances where that is the case. You hit a roadblock and you just need to back up and take a different route. But today, I'm going to give you guys some insight, some key takeaways, to choose to persevere and not to quit. When you think about, or when I think about how long it takes to grow a business, to grow and develop people, and I think about all the different things that our business has been through personally, and as I'm consulting other businesses, what they've been through, there's nothing new under the sun. At the same time, I've come up with like a series of questions, if you will, internally. Maybe I should put these down on paper and send them out to people. But it's kind of an exam. It's an examination. It's a survey question that, in my mind and in my heart, I try to answer. Does this need to take place? The questions of the why and the when are answered, and it then determines whether I should keep moving and then when I should stop. Now, there's been a couple of situations come up, 4 or 5 years ago, right? And it was a situation where I was offered a job, and at the same time, I had just started to run my business. And I really had to take a long, hard look at what I felt my purpose was in life, my intent, what was my strengths, my weaknesses, what was my calling, if you will, and that's my purpose. And I actually turned down the job, which was paying okay, to work on my business that wasn't paying anything at the moment. That's a tough place to be in. And I'm almost positive that you, as the listener right now, have been in that place. And not necessarily whether it's paid or unpaid, but there's been an opportunity afforded to you when you're already in the middle of something. So, what I want to talk to you about, as we go through this idea of persistence, is really some key things that I think you can take away. And it all starts with this conversation has started because I started reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, written back in the mid 1930s. And the book is seriously a timeless trove of treasure. I kid you not. If you're a reader and you've not read this book, you need to pick it up. It's deep, it's meaningful. If you've read it before, pick it up and read it again. In fact, reach out to me. We'll do a mastermind group over it. And if you've read the book, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say mastermind. And even if you haven't, this idea of mastermind has come from, and it's basically a, I don't want to use the word support group, but that's the best way I can think of it, because there's a facilitator and then there are other people that sit at this table and you're supporting one another and their businesses, their life, their work and life, right? Work and personal. Sorry. So years ago, I was asked to read it and I chose not to. I missed out. Now, I can go back and go and say, should I have done this back then? Things have been different? I don't know. All I know is what the information I've got in front of me. This has really provoked even a deeper sense of persistence in me. Think about this. Just in 2020 alone, we saw close to, according to statistics, close to 25% of businesses close for various reasons, right? There have been many businesses stay open for various reasons. And I'm not saying that persistence is the key element or the key ingredient in all of that. But as we go through this, this is something that you really have to assess for yourself as the business owner, as the community leader, as an employee, as just a human being. Where do I need to be in life? Where do I go? Where is the line in the sand? That type of thing. Over the course of the past 48 years, that's how old I am. The opportunity to work with many and various people have been afforded to me. Loved every single person, loved every single situation. Some were harder than others, but there were also opportunities to learn and to grow from it. Many people have wanted during that time, many people have approached me because they've wanted to quit their job, their key positions in a business. And they came talking to me as if it was second nature. One that stands out in my mind is this gentleman, and for the sake of anonymity and just pure confidence and confidentialism, let's name this guy Bruce. Bruce comes to me, and he is just really concerned about life. Everything in his world seems to be falling down around him. Very successful business owner. Um, Plenty of people working with him, for him as employees, leadership roles, management, senior, junior leadership, pretty big business. Comes to me and says, "Hey, Chris, you and I have known each other for a while, and you strike me as a guy," and I'm almost quoting him, "You strike me as a guy of someone that I can talk to, and you're not going to judge." I said, "Yeah, you're absolutely right." He says, "I just need you to listen." And I said, "Okay." I listened for a good probably 40 minutes or so. And when he was done talking, I just sat there quiet. Now, in my mind, I'm processing, but he asked me to listen. And ultimately, he was talking about giving up his business because his relationship with his family was starting to fall apart, and it had already been falling apart. He was just now starting to witness this, and he now knows that it was starting to affect him on his work area, and the business was starting to suffer. The relationships within the business and in the community were starting to suffer. And so really what he wanted to know was, what do I do? And really he's looking for some sort of feedback, but he had not asked for it yet. He just asked for me to listen. So I listened. I did what I was asked to do. And in doing that, it got to the point where, where it's kind of like awkward silence. And he said, "Okay, I can see you're thinking. Do you have any advice for me?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. Here's one thing, and then come back to me after it. What is the most important thing in your life right now?" And he said, and I said, "No, wait, come back to me. I want you to think about it. I want you to write it down. Reach out to me when you're ready to talk." I said, "Because I'm going to hold you accountable to this, and I'm going to ask you to persevere through everything that's going on." Now, I reached out to Bruce a few years ago, and everything was absolutely amazing for him. Why? Because he had seen just everything from a different perspective because of that one question I asked him. And then I was there to help him through it. Napoleon Hill shares this quote from his book, Think and Grow Rich. He says this: persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. The basis of persistence is the power of will. In other words, the foundation of persistence is the power of will. Then he says that when persistence and willpower are properly combined, they, quote, make an irresistible pair, end quote. That's powerful. I wish that you had your book open and you were reading this at this moment, because taking a look at that and reading it through and then saying, how does that apply to me? All of a sudden, the switch for those light bulbs start to click on. We need willpower in order to cultivate persistence, and then we have both. When we have both, we are unstoppable. Okay? Persistence and willpower, unstoppable. So properly combined means this. This should be our mindset. So properly combined equals our mindset. We know what we want. We create a plan to achieve it, and then we follow it. And through those four arenas, we need to be firm with the plan, but flexible. We need to be firm with the plan and flexible. Winston Churchill is quoted as saying, success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. So, in other words, failure is something that didn't work, and so we try at it again. Now, for me, in my opinion, I don't necessarily like the word failure. Failure, just because of my upbringing and all that, has this this connotation that it's an end result. So you guys know this. You've heard other people say it. I like to look at them as opportunities. So failure, sure, I get where we're coming from on that, but I also see that as an opportunity. So here's what I do want to do, just to kind of wrap this up on this podcast. Here are some criteria for persistent, driven people. All right. You might want to take out a pen and paper, pull out your tablet, whatever the case might be, your phone, and start getting the Notes app open, ready to go. I'm going to give you some criteria for persistent, driven people. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has worked for me even before I've read about it. Sometimes this can be common sense to people. Sometimes this is something that you learn along the way before you read it. This is something that you learn along the way before you learn it, right? The School of Hard Knocks is a great educational tool, right? So here are some criteria for persistent, driven people. Ready? Here's what they are. Persistent, driven people keep to their vision. The vision doesn't change. Whatever you see is what you're going after. Whatever you see, the decisions that I make today and tomorrow are going towards that vision, whatever that is, whether it's for your own personal life, your family, your business, the community. You keep to the vision no matter what takes place. More often than not, people did not shift their vision in 2020. They persevered through that if they were able to, right? So that's number one on persistent, driven people. They keep to their vision. Number two, they have a passion or a burning desire to see the outcome, right? There is something inside of them that is fueling them, and that is passion, that's desire, that they know that what they're doing is what they're meant to be doing. That's what allows us to continue moving forward, regardless of what comes our way. Third, confidence. Confidence. I know what I know, and I'm confident about that, right? That's what you're going to say. I know what I know, and I'm confident about it. Our business has been successful in the past. Our marriage has been strong in the past. We're confident. I'm going to be a great dad. I'm going to be a great mom. I'm going to be a great business owner. I'm going to be a great employee. I'm going to be a great community leader. Confidence, right? It's the knowing that you know. And if you don't know, you know where to go to get the information, right? It's confidence. Habits, the next one, habits that are in tune with the vision and its outcome. Habits that are in tune with the vision and its outcome. Whatever I want to do, my habits need to project that that vision is going to be coming true somewhere down the road. I need to change my lifestyle. I need to change what I do on a daily basis. For me, when I first get up, I'm reading. I'm doing my devotions, my meditation, and then I'm reading. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. And by the way, just so you know, as a side note, Think and Grow Rich is not all about being rich in a monetary perspective. I just want you guys to know that there's a holistic approach, right? Mind, body, and soul. So the habits are in tune with the vision and its outcome. Next one, flexibility. So my habits are in tune with the outcome of the vision, but I also need to be flexible with it. I need to be okay and saying that no matter what is coming my way, that this is what I'm going to do. However, people get sick. Um, People clock out for no whatever apparent reason, right? Or there, I mean, there's so many different things that we need to be flexible with. COVID, we need to be flexible, right? Um, and so that flexibility is an absolute essential criteria for persistent driven people. So flexibility, desire to continuously learn. Sure, I have a master's degree in business. Great. So what? Now, people ask me that if I have a degree before they bring me on. But at the same time, I'm constantly reading. I'm reading books. You can see behind me, there's a bookshelf. There's a bookshelf over here to my left. Maybe you're right. Um, I'm constantly looking at world news, and I'm looking at federal news, and I'm looking at state and local news. Why? Because whatever decisions are made at the top, they filter down to you and I as the business owner and community leader. So I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly looking for ways to help people. So that's why I do it. It's desire to continuously learn because I don't have it all figured out yet, but I know where to go if I need a response or an answer. And then lastly, persistent driven people, they have mentors. They have mentors. Um, I have a couple of mentors. I have a business consultant. And I have people that know other people. If I needed something as I grow and as my business grows, then the relationships that I have now have gotten me to that point. I keep them, but I'm looking for the next relationship because I want to grow. I'm looking for those mentors, right? So that's the criteria of persistent driven people. Keep to their vision, have a passion or burning desire, confidence, habits that are in tune with the vision and its outcome, flexibility, and then the desire to continuously learn, and they have mentors. I'm reminded that a few years ago, I was living in the Seattle area and I was heading over to SeaTac, which is Seattle's airport, for some business trips. And this, just like any day, it was cloudy, it was rainy, it was dreary, it was dark, it was cold. There are more days up there like that than there are sunshine, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes it just gets a little old, but either way, I had boarded the plane, um, and as we did the liftoff, and we pulled through the clouds, there was the sun waiting for us. And in that moment, as the water droplets came off the window and the sun dried it out, I was reminded that in seeing the sun, it was always there. The storm clouds had come between me and the sun, humanity and the sun. And so it was bright. My memory took me back to the warmth of the sun. And I'm just going to say this to you. The sun is always shining behind the storm. Life is, and can be a struggle. But remember the criteria. In fact, reach out to me if you need it again. Find ways to apply it. And then learn from the next time. This is absolutely important. We have got to not necessarily evolve, but we've got to grow through situations. Grow through them. Um, there's so many different analogies out there, and I could spend hours sharing them with you. But I just want to encourage you to take those criterias that I had shared with you Reach out to me if you need them again. Remember them, find ways to apply them, and then learn from it for the next time. There'll be something coming along next time. Uh, it's inevitable. It's life, right? So here's what happens with persistence. It's what helps us get through failure. Persistence is what helps us get through disappointment and so many other things that are that way, of that nature. That's what persistence is all about. I want to encourage you to persist today. Persevere would be another way. And it just, it's nothing but a privilege to host this podcast entitled Epic. Nothing but a privilege. Um, I've had a few people reach out and said that they enjoyed this episode or that episode. And so it is a privilege. I'm now finding that it's because it's out there, it's a responsibility as well. And I think that as I go back through there and listen to them, there will be nuggets of wisdom that I will find that I said today that will apply in the days coming, in the days ahead. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Please share them with me either in the uh, in the chat bar below, or you can email me. You've got my contact information. You can call me, whatever the case might be. But it's been a privilege to host you, and let me encourage you to pick up the book Think and Grow Rich. If you want something to read it with, I'm right here. I can be your guy. Again, my name is Chris, and you know what? Today, make it a day of persevering. It's not a bad word. It's a great word. Make it a day about persevering. And as you make it a great day, live life with purpose.